Hi guys, I'm Sammy Nicole,
Hi, and I'm Fifi.
and we are the Generation X and Millennial mother-daughter duo. Basically, we come to you all each and every week to discuss love, life, and relationships. And on this week's topic, we're going to be talking about should you ask your man to marry you?
I don't know. Should you?
Let's see.
I don't know. Not back in my day, but maybe now with millennials, but not Generation X.
Okay, so I kind of see where you're coming from with that part. That point, excuse me. I think with some millennials, they may be open to asking their significant other to marry them. Me personally, I would say no. So I would have to agree with the Generation X standpoint. I'm not asking anybody to marry me. No.
And I just don't think you should do that. I think that a man should come to you and ask you for your hand in marriage.
If that's what you want, some
If
people
that's
don't
what you
desire to be
want.
married, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And I
Just have
know
to
that's
throw
the
in that
traditional way.
split that
But
idea to it.
That's just what I feel. I feel that a woman is worthy to have that experience of a man coming to you and asking for your hand in marriage. Now, that's just the way I feel. That's just Generation X. That's my opinion. But I know nowadays that it doesn't happen like that with millennials. I've seen things on social media where young ladies have asked young men to marry them. And that's okay because we're in a society now where we're not doing everything traditionally. Things
Gender roles
are changing.
are changing,
And so we're outside the norm of doing things, and that's okay.
and what we consider to be norm once upon a time.
Right. So, no. And I guess the reason why we're talking about this topic is because of one of the reality shows that Samantha and I watch.
Yes. One of the shows is from the Wags franchise.
Excellent show. Love it.
Beautiful women.
Beautiful. But one thing about one of the episodes concerned me is when the young lady was very upset because she wanted to get married. She actually got pregnant before wanting to be married. And she asked the young man, when are we going to get married? And he told her that he felt like he was being pressured. And she was just so upset, and it just hurt me for this young lady because she was all emotional and crying. Why don't you want to marry me? I don't want to be a
Baby mom.
Why don't you marry me? And my thing is, you should have asked for all of this
In the beginning.
in the beginning. You have to know how to ask for what you want out of your relationships. If you don't want something in a relationship that the other person is giving you, just tell them, I don't want it. Or in the beginning of the relationships, what are your expectations of this relationship?
Right.
Where is it going? What's going to happen? This is what I want out of this relationship. Can you give me that? But you don't go on with the relationship, and then in the middle of the relationship, when things happen like a pregnancy, now you want to be a wife. You don't want to be a baby mama, but
Or a girlfriend.
or a girlfriend. But all along you were playing that role. But now we get to the middle of the relationship, and you want to switch roles, and the young man is not having it. So you're devastated. You're crying. And that episode, just as a mother, to see her so upset, not knowing that you're worth more than that.
Right.
You don't have to cry and ask someone to take your hand in marriage, and he's feeling like he's being pressured. And so, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You deserve more. And learn to ask for what you want
Initially up front. So that way, great point. It's important, it's imperative to ask for what you want up front in a relationship. So that way, you guys are on the same page and you guys can decide if, you want to move forward or not. There's nothing wrong with being transparent and being honest about what you're looking for, and either the person can give it to you or they cannot.
Or they cannot.
And if they can't, it's no hard feelings. That's the whole process of dating, trying to figure out what fits, what doesn't, what works for you, what doesn't. And so it's important, once again, to make it known so you can try to avoid that type of situation where you're begging someone to marry you, you're begging someone to accept you and see you as worthy, and as a result you're starting to question yourself, like,
Right.
well, am I worthy? Why haven't they asked yet? What's wrong with me? What's going on? I mean, I'm doing everything this person asks of me, and there's still no ring on my finger. What's going on? And then that causes resentment, animosity, anger, stress, and a lot of that could have
Right.
potentially been avoided if you just would have made that a standard, and you would have just stuck to your guns initially. But things do
Right.
happen. But I think the best thing I know I took away from that was to, if you want something and you're adamant about it, remain consistent. Don't waver from it.
Right.
No matter how much in love you may think you are. If you know you want to be married before you have a child, stick to it. Stick to your guns. If that's what you want. If that's not what you want, hey, do your thing, girl. But if that
Right.
is what you want, then you need to stick to your guns.
And that goes back to what we were talking about on our last YouTube video about dishonoring yourself. She was totally dishonoring what she really wanted because she wanted a relationship with this young man. And I feel that after she realized that the relationship wasn't going in the direction she wanted it to go in, then she started to feel some type of way about it. And it was just so sad that the young lady didn't know, you're worthy. You deserve so much more. This young man is not the end. It's not
Right.
millennials, you guys want things like this. I want it. I want to be married. This is the person I want to be with. But it's not the end. Everything doesn't have to be instant. She could very well leave him alone and find somebody that can give her what she wants, and that's marriage.
But I think that also ties into maybe self-esteem. She probably
Right.
doesn't think she can find someone
True.
to treat her exactly like him. He's spoiling her. He's, very,
True.
loving and affectionate. And, she alluded to it previously how he was the only man who treated her, like a queen. And, it was the best treatment she's ever had in a relationship coming from him. So,
Right.
She may not be as encouraged to go out and start, anew, because she's just so used to the lifestyle and the way he's treating her. It's probably a lot easier said than done to just walk away.
Right. But then that goes back to what we always talk about is being whole. You have to be whole and complete within yourself to know that you deserve better and to know that you are worthy, and your heart desire supersedes anything else. What you desire in your heart is what you should go on. And you shouldn't take anything less than that desire. And I think, like you said, he was giving her so much. He bought her a couple cars,
Purses, jewelry. The jewelry was one of the ways that he would use to try to pacify her. So if she was upset about, not being married or a certain situation not, going her way, then jewelry, money, clothes, cars, that's how he would pacify her and try to also distract her in a way as well.
Right. And then looking from his standpoint, he kept saying, I feel like I'm being pressured.
And nobody wants to feel pressured.
And nobody wants to feel pressured. I feel like,
man or woman.
I feel like I'm doing something I don't want to do. And as a man, they feel that way. And a man doesn't have any issue telling you, don't pressure me. You can't pressure a man into doing something or being somebody he doesn't want to be. It just doesn't work out. Now,
once he shows you who he is, believe him.
Believe him. That's who he is. That is who he is. And just to, look at this. Now, I don't know how their relationship is going to turn out. But if they proceed with the marriage and he still feels like he's being pressured, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because he's going to go into the marriage with animosity.
towards her
because he's gonna
dragging his feet to get into
because he's gonna feel like, okay, you pushed me, I didn't want to do this anyway.
Right.
So that's why it's just best. That's why I say no. Let the man come to you and ask for your hand in marriage. I know times have changed. I know.
And I personally, as a millennial, I don't think it take all day to know the sunshine. You know if you want to be with somebody or not.
True,
you know,
do.
if you meet somebody, if you're on purpose, you know who you are, you know what you want.
That's a new one.
Okay, girl. Anyway, like I was saying, again, I don't believe personally, this is my opinion, I don't think it take all day to know the sunshine now. Like, if you know who you are, you know what you want, you know what you're about, you know what you're looking for in a mate. Once you find it, I don't think it takes all day. And I don't think you should drag your feet, especially if you trust yourself. You know that you're wise, you make wise judgments, and you know that you won't intentionally lead yourself down the wrong path. I don't think it takes all day long to know the sunshine. If you notice that that's the person that you want to be with, you know you guys are on the same page. There's chemistry. You guys are on the same page mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually. That matters too. I think you should go for it. I don't think you should be dragging your feet. Because you can always use the excuse, it's not the right time. It's never the right time in theory if you think about it. There's always something coming up in life.
Right. That's true. I think I agree with the millennial. I totally agree that when you start to date, and that's why it's so important to date. That's why I always tell millennials,
don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
And dating does not equate to sex. This means you're dating, getting to know people. There's nothing wrong with that.
And it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with having a young man call you up and say, hey, would you like to go here? Or, I'm sorry, millennials text. Okay, I went back to Generation X. Okay. Text. It's nothing wrong with a young man. Or even so, not just texting. Sometimes you guys can call one another.
Yes.
It still works the same, okay? It's nothing wrong with that, saying, hey, can I take you out on a date? Can can we meet here? Can we do this? You want to go to a play? Like I said, my husband and I, we dated. He wooed me. He gave me that woo factor. And people always say, well, what's the woo? Woo, he bought me flowers. Woo, he asked me to go here. Woo, we went here. We saw this. Woo.
He was actually courting you.
He courted me. He actually courted me, and he courted me for some years. So before we actually got married, and I enjoyed every second of it. Believe it or not, I had never been dated. I've been married before, but I had never been dated before I met courted before I met my husband. And I really enjoyed it. I can truly say I enjoyed the fact of getting dressed and anticipating the night and where we were going, and him opening up the car door for me, him pulling out my chair, and him ordering my food. I really enjoyed that. So that's what I tell millennials. Date. Enjoy the process of dating.
Make it a requirement, because you have some men, and not just in the millennial generation, but even men within the Generation X, generation. They'll try to, finesse you out of actually courting you as well. So I think, yes, it has something to do with the generation differences, but I think it also has to do with just the times that we're in, because you'll have men in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and will do whatever they can to work around not taking a woman on an actual date. But rather just inviting her over to their house, eating food, and Netflixing and chilling out. If you're a woman and that's what you want, more power to you.
But you have to let them know up front what you want and what your expectations are. What you want, where you want this relationship or this friendship or whatever. You have to let people know what you want. One thing that I was always...
Set the ground rules, your requirements up front early on.
Exactly.
Because when you start off weak, sometimes it can be hard to build yourself up in the context of a relationship. So if you start off, adamant about what you want and you don't waver off your standards, in my opinion, I think that you're more likely to get your needs met, versus if you just go for anything in the beginning, then later on down the line you try to switch it up. Then he's like, well, what do you mean? You accepted this in the beginning. Why do I have to change now? we've been doing this for the past 2-3 years and you've been cool with it, why change now?
Right.
So that's
And
why
why
I say
didn't
go
you
ahead
tell
and
me
start
that?
off strong.
And then if when I was dating, I would tell men up front,